Hey, all you weather geeks, it is that time. It's the Monday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Hope you enjoyed a nice day today. It was cold this morning. I had 29 degrees at my house in Boardman and pretty thick frost in my neighborhood at the start of the day. But once the sunshine broke through, it turned out to be nice. We got up to the middle and upper 50s this afternoon, pretty close to where we should be at this time of the year. I'm recording this at about 7:30 p.m., and we do have a veil of thin cirrus clouds that made for a really nice sunset. Still present over the area. The thicker clouds are off to the south. And what we have going on in the south, of course, is the remnants of Patricia pushing through the Gulf Coast region and heading up into the Tennessee Valley. This is, of course, in a much weakened state, but this is actually going to re-strengthen some as the remnant low down here kind of merges with just a regular old low-pressure system out here, make for a pretty potent storm moving across the Midwest as we go into midweek. Talk about the details on that in just a second. Taking a look at the temperatures across the region here on this Monday evening. Not much of note here. It's pretty warm in the southwest, 89 in Phoenix. But look up in Canada, that's where the cold air is, teens and 20s up there. And across most of the USA, this is just kind of a typical October evening. All right, the rain is coming our way. Let's talk about the timing of the rain. I'm going to show you first the high-res NAM model, North American model, and I'm going to skip ahead to daybreak tomorrow morning. Here's where our features will be at the start of the day. Our remnant low is still down here. We have high pressure up over New England and a chilly easterly flow coming into the mid-Atlantic states. Kind of a miserable Tuesday in Charlotte and Columbia and Myrtle Beach as well. But the rain by daybreak tomorrow is up to about the Ohio River. It's going to take its time getting up here, though. I think it's going to be towards evening before it starts raining here locally. Here's 4 p.m. The dry air, thanks to the high over here, is going to keep eating away at the moisture, so it's not going to make much northward progress for most of the daylight hours tomorrow. Notice by 4 p.m. the rain is still only to about Cincinnati, Parkersburg, Marietta. That's about it. But as we go towards evening, the atmosphere will saturate, the moisture comes north, and it will eventually start to rain. The NAM model doesn't even have the rain here at 8 p.m. Some of the other modeling does. Here's the GFS pushing it closer to our area. But again, the NAM's a little bit slower. I think between 8 and midnight on average is when it starts to rain during the course of tomorrow evening. And the rain's going to get pretty heavy, I think, tomorrow night. Here's in the wee hours of Wednesday morning. You've got a screaming southerly flow here. You've got bands of rain, some of it light, some of it more moderate. I don't think there's any thunder at this point. But temperatures will actually start to rise then Tuesday night after an evening low. Temperatures will start rising back into the 50s. It's going to be a mild day Wednesday. Here's a look at the midday map. So at midday here, we have our low up here. The cold front kind of probably right in through here. And right out ahead of the front, there might be skinny little lines of thunderstorms trying to develop Wednesday afternoon. Not looking for a lot, but it is possible. I can show you the instability here real quick. Here's the CAPE values, convective available potential energy. It's a fancy meteorological term for a measure of how much instability there is. The higher the instability, the more unstable the atmosphere is, the faster air parcels can rise and form clouds and get tall and form thunderstorms. Anyway, we're not looking at a lot of CAPE here by any stretch of the imagination. You notice, though, there is a little sliver of blue that comes up here indicating some positive CAPE values. And so, yeah, I think there could be a couple of skinny little bands of thunderstorms around mid-afternoon on Wednesday. I think the rainiest part of the day is actually the morning, but the best chance for a thunderstorm is in the afternoon. Now, the steady rain's gone by Wednesday evening. Let's go into Wednesday night. Behind our front, we're going to get some residual moisture and spotty showers. The chilly air will be pushing in, and Thursday is not rainy at all, but I think there could be a pop-up shower here and there. Best chance will be up towards Buffalo and into the mountainous areas of Pennsylvania and into the southern tier of New York. Across most of the Mahoning and Shenango valleys, Thursday should be a pretty uneventful day, just blustery and cold as well. How much rain are we talking about? Pretty good amount here, I think. Here's a look at the SREF model, short-range ensemble forecast. You're going to see me show this more and more as we head into the winter. One of the things we do is what we call ensemble forecasting, taking a look at a range of ideas within a computer model and kind of taking that information and determining kind of what the bounds of the possibilities are. There's going to be at least this much and maybe as much as, this much. And then we like to look at the average somewhere in between. The SREF model here, 26 members of it now. It used to be 21, now it's 26, each represented by a line. This black line that runs through the middle, is the average of all those 26 runs of this model, and it ends up at about 1.5 inches worth of rain on average, with as little as a half an inch and as much as 2 inches within the bounds of this model. So I think an inch to inch and a half is what we're looking at, and I posted on social media earlier. Got to be careful with storm drains and your gutters at this time of the year when there's heavy rain and the leaves are really coming down. Things can get clogged up and cause some problems. So if you can, if you have the opportunity, Tuesday's a good day to get out and take care of that. Clean out the storm drains a little bit and make sure your gutters are clear. That way you don't have problems with the water that's tracking our way. All right, so once we are done with the midweek rain event, real quick look at the end of the week, including Halloween. There are some trick-or-treats, of course, prior to Halloween, but let's focus on Halloween itself. The modeling showing clouds increasing on Saturday during the Halloween day. And as we go towards trick-or-treat time, Saturday evening, this is getting close. Our forecast remains a dry one, but we might have to adjust it a little bit depending on what the model trends are. But most of the modeling has a front trying to lay out somewhere in northern Ohio, northwest PA. Now, if it's up here, we're okay. If it's a little bit more down here, then we might have to deal with some rain Saturday evening for Halloween. Whether you're taking the kids out trick-or-treating or heading to an adult Halloween party, might have to deal with a little rain. Stay tuned on that. We'll fine-tune the forecast throughout the week. All right, first day of November on Sunday, I think there's a better chance of rain this day with the next front. But there's not much cool air behind that. In fact, next week is looking balmy. Let's take a look at the pattern as we head into next week. Here's the pattern right now, or actually right now is right here. Not much to write home about, not many interesting features across the U.S. That's why temperatures are pretty close to average. As we go towards midweek and the end of the week, there's our big trough moving through the Great Lakes associated with our rainy system for Tuesday night and Wednesday. By the end of the week, that pushes away. And notice what happens as we go into next week. A ridge is going to start popping up along the East Coast and then actually start to retrograde or back west a little bit. So look at the pattern by next Wednesday, 9 days from now. A big ridge over Florida, lots of warm air across the east, the cool air's out here in the west. So I think next week, for the first full week of November, we're going to have some mild days. That means temperatures, we could see 60s for highs, at least a few days. Here's the 7 to 14 day outlook. These are temperature anomalies, difference from average in that 7 to 14 day period, showing a pretty, remarkable pattern here for early November. Pretty warm in the east, pretty chilly out west. Interestingly enough, our winter forecast will sort of look like this probably, but not quite just like this. But some of the warm anomalies will be in a similar place that they are here. Some of the cool anomalies will be in a similar place that they're at here. Although in some cases it won't look like this. So stay tuned for that. Going to do a Weather Geek version of the winter forecast. I think I'll do it Wednesday evening. The TV version will be on 21 News at 11 Thursday evening. So we'll tell you all about the winter. I'm going to break it down month by month. We're going to look at December. We're going to look at January. We're going to look at February and show you what the temperature anomalies will be. Going to show you a map that gives a range in your backyard of how much snow I expect this winter. And some of you will be happy, some of you will not. So a little preview of the winter forecast coming our way later on this week. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great night.